Hey y'all, Big Tim here. Thanks for tuning in for another episode of Old School and Bass with Big Tim. So today is an important day in American history. We call it Patriots Day now. But 18 years ago, we had one of the most traumatic things that's probably ever happened in my lifetime. The only thing that would probably even come close to it was Pearl Harbor, I would guess. I wasn't around for Pearl Harbor, but I imagine the sentiment had to be pretty similar. But September 11th, 2001, when there were a lot of lives lost in New York City, a lot of lives lost in Washington, D.C., and also outside of, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania? Somerville? Something like that. It was a big day, a hateful day, just a miserable day. If you were around back then, you know what you were doing. You know you felt like you'd been kicked in the gut. You knew you felt sick all day long. But this is America. We never want to forget what happened on 9/11, but we have to move forward. We have to go on. And that's what today is about. 4 years ago, I learned of an organization called the Sheepdog Impact Assistance Program. And what they do, besides responding to natural disasters anywhere they're in need, they also, their main goal is to try to help their own. Former military, first responders that are in need. Let's try that again. Their main goal is to help former military and first responders who are in need. So for the last 4 years, they have sponsored a tournament on Williamstown Lake. Now, this isn't a normal, everyday tournament. There's no entry fee. There's no prize money. It's about getting together. Sheepdogs gather up a bunch of fishermen like me, and then pair them up with vets or, first responders. And I actually considered not doing it this year because Williamstown Lake always kicks my butt. Not always. I mean, I can have some good days on it, but for tournaments, it always kills me. And in discussion with Lori, my wife, she said it's not about doing well in the tournament. It's not about catching fish. It's about getting these guys out for a day on the water. And she's right. That's what it's about. And it's pretty cool because they closed down the lake. So basically, it's only us out there fishing. But, that is what it's about, getting those vets out there, getting the first responders out there, getting them a chance to relax, unwind, getting them out in nature, hearing the birds, geese, whatever. So, like I said, in the past, I've done this 3 out of the 4 years we've done it. And I feel pretty bad in the fact that none of my partners have ever caught fish. And that's one of the problems. That hurt me deeply. That's one of the problems and one of the reasons I didn't want to think about fishing it this year. And, after talking to Lori, we decided to go, and I said, hey, I'll give it a little extra. So I took Dad down the Friday beforehand, and Dad and I practiced. And we didn't catch a bunch of fish. Well, we did catch a bunch of fish. We just didn't catch good quality. But at least we caught some keepers this time, so I felt fairly confident we could at least come in with a limit. But you'll have to judge for yourself. Check the rest out. Come on, dude.
Mine's a frozen. Nope. Get to the gill. Boy, you felt a lot better. Bring him up here, Pop. It's healthy. So he may not be big enough to do. Okay, let me get you tied. That's weird. Two keepers right there. There's one. Ow.
So for the tournament, I drew a Marine. I always want to say former Marine, but I've been corrected. No, these guys are always Marines. Once a Marine, always Marine. So I drew a Marine named Nick. Nick was a really cool guy, and I could tell he was an experienced angler. When he showed up, he already had two really nice, I think they were Shimano bait casters, good rods, and he asked me how I've been catching fish. I told him with a brush hog. He's back in the boat rigging it up, and he was ready. So Nick had been very experienced. Going back to the fact of getting these guys out, like I said, Nick's an experienced angler, but hasn't been fishing. I think he said in like 7 or 9 years. Long time. But it was a lot of fun. So check it out. And one other thing, Nick's a poet. He's going to recite a couple of his poems on here. And hopefully the volume is loud enough to hear. In doing the editing, I was questioning whether or not the volume's going to be loud enough. So hopefully we can hear it. If not, I might have to get in touch with Nick and maybe do another. Maybe we'll go to Williamstown again. Who knows?
Water, shallow water, whatever. Then I got away from this. Come on. That'll make it. Yeah.
No, it's probably 11 inches.
Boy, that's close, huh? That was a quarter inch. Like, yeah, you're really good. But the best one I wrote was about, I'd say, 8 months into my therapy. And it's called The Tears of War. And it goes like this. Is it the sound of a gun when bullets fly? Or the senseless death when many die? When one hates another and doesn't know why, or the face on a child when his mother dies. It's in faraway places and faraway lands. It's on again, it's off again. When will it end? It brings tears to a widow and her father's son. It stops the dreams of a mother of what he would become, takes the will from a father that died with his son. On childhood memories, the rest left undone. Is it religion or power with the stroke of a pen, or the wish of a tyrant that hides deep in a den? It makes the darkest of days across the lands. It wouldn't be, it couldn't be part of his plan. The tears of war run deep and wide. The tears of war will never dry. And that was the beginning of my writing.
There's one. That's a good one. We got a keeper. No, maybe not. The way it hit,
Holy shit, he slammed you.
it,
I saw you run, Chip.
it killed that bait. You gotta be kidding me. I really thought.
My favorite one is a very short, simple one. It's called The Footprints of a Soldier. And it goes like this. The footprints of a soldier sadly leads to his grave, to a flag-draped coffin on a cold, cold, snow-covered day. The setting is fixed, it's frozen in time, as the rifles repeat 21 times. Decorated and honored for his life that he gave, deemed a small-town hero. What a price did he pay? Who will speak for the soldier? No words can he say. Many unanswered questions what took place on his last day. A mother's endless wonder, was he scared and alone? His father convinced he was stoic and strong. Little sister, she weeps, a big brother no more. Only great pains and deep sorrows from the memories of that war. And that is a pretty heavy duty one, I think.
Yeah.
I like this guy's dog. Wow, that's
Finally,
outstanding. Way to go.
we hit out here.
We did it out. That's it.
That's how yellow he is.
I see it. I saw that. That's the color of that one that I turned. Ah. Now this is on the yes.
I don't know.
Close.
Close.
I'd say so. It's cottage.
Do it.
I got it.
Almost 13. All right.
I always got this one. he almost started smoking. You almost started smoking cigarettes. You thought it had something to do with the getting off.
So we didn't catch a bunch of big fish, but we did catch a lot of fish. Both myself and my partner Nick, the Marine, and we had a good time. And Lori was right. It was about getting out on the water. Nick hadn't been fishing, I think he said in 7 or 8 years, and this is the first time he'd been fishing. And he's an experienced angler. I mean, when he showed up, I could tell by the rods and reels he had, he knew what he was doing. I told him how I'd been catching fish in practice on a brush hog, and he got in his box and rigged up a brush hog, and he was ready to go. And we caught a bunch of fish. We just didn't get enough keepers. I think we caught 2 keepers and probably caught about 10 short fish apiece. But again, it was all about being out there, and we did have a good time. It was a really good time. I was really concentrating on trying to catch fish to do well for the tournament. And about, I don't know, 3/4 of the way through the day, I started realizing it wasn't going to happen. And then it was about me and Nick just being out there and relaxing and having a good time. Unfortunately, I didn't get to show you the weigh-in, and be honest with you, I probably wouldn't have anyway. I ran out of space on my SD card when I was filming them with my GoPro. But some of those folks probably wouldn't have liked their faces blasted over the internet anyway. But, you know, if you want to help out, you know, you can always sponsor or sponsor and give some money to the Veterans Administration. I know that's a government agency, but they can use help. This was the first year that the VA was involved that I'm aware of, and it was really good to see these folks. They came down on a bus. I think there were like 15 of them. This year was also the most boats that we've ever had, the most vets and first responders, and we had at least 5 or 6 women. So that was really cool. It was a good time. But the VA is a good place to contribute. Sheepdog Impact Assistance Program, they're a great place to donate some money, and you know, there's all kinds of others. If you ever have any questions, if you want to help out, if you want to get involved, one of the sponsors is a fellow that I drew the first year. His name is Guy. And Guy actually owns Smoking This and That up on Mount Zion Road. And if you talk to Guy, he'll tell you how you can help out. Guy, he's a great fella. You know, you normally want to say Guy is a great guy, which he is, but he is a great fellow. And he's also a Marine. And if it wasn't for him, I don't know if this thing would be around. He helps out tremendously, and he was my partner the first year, so I feel bad that he's one of those guys that didn't catch any fish. But Smoking This and That up on Mount Zion Road, great sponsor of this program. Wheatus Marine over in Alexandria, another great sponsor. If it wasn't for Sean and the folks over at Wheatus Marine, this event definitely would not happen. He has been there from day one, and of course all the sheepdogs. So thanks for watching. Please consider getting involved. Even if you just show up and fish a tournament. I don't have a lot of money to give. So, you know, my thing is giving some time, you know, helping these guys out, getting out there on the water a little bit, you know, and it really helped out. You could see the smiles on all their faces and everything else. But again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.